So quick question, paano kung kumikita ka ng 80,000 to 100,000 a month or even more every month as a freelancer? Pero kapag nag-apply ka ng loan, parang wala kang trabaho. Imagine this, regular naman ang clients mo, nakakabayad ka ng bills, nakakapag-upgrade ka pa ng laptop at minsan ikaw pa ang takbuhan ng family kapag may emergency. Kaya noong kailangan mo ng personal loan, confident kang nag-apply. Akala mo straightforward lang dahil alam mong kaya mong magbayad. Then after a few days, dumating ang message na ayaw nating makita. Your loan application was not approved. Masakit, mas masakit pa minsan sa message ng client na we have decided to move into a different direction. Hindi ka na nga pinili ng client, hindi ka pa pinili ng bank. Pero minsan, hindi maliit na income ang dahilan kung bakit rejected ang isang Filipino freelancer. Ang problema ay hindi malinaw kung paano mapapatunayan ang income. Wala kang traditional payslip, wala kang regular certificate of employment, at iba-iba ang amount na pumapasok every month. Minsan galing sa Wise, minsan PayPal, minsan Payoneer, at minsan direkta sa GCash or local bank account. Sa mata mo, malinaw na may trabaho ka. Sa mata ng client mo, valuable team member ka. Pero sa mata ng lender, kailangan nilang makita ang records bago sila maniwala sa financial story mo. Kaya sa video na ito, hindi lang tayo maglilista ng mga loan na pwedeng applyan ng isang Filipino freelancer. Pag-uusapan natin kung paano ka gagawa ng system para mas malinaw ang income mo, paano mo ititest kung kaya mo talaga ang monthly payment at paano ka makakaiwas sa mga loan na madaling kunin pero mahirap takasan. At stay until the end of the video dahil bibigyan kita ng practical 30-day freelancer money reset. Sasabihin ko exactly kung ano ang aayusin mo bawat week mula sa bank accounts at invoices hanggang sa emergency fund at government contributions. Walang fake payslip, walang fixer at walang PME guaranteed approval. Legit at practical preparation lang. So welcome back to Jom or A Journey of Me, kung saan pinag-uusapan natin ang totoong buhay ng freelancers mula sa paghahanap ng client hanggang sa pag-survive kapag biglang nag-message si client ng "Can we jump on a quick call?" Alam nating hindi quick ang call na iyan. At dahil dyan, pag-usapan muna natin ang totoong problema. May income ka pero may proof ka ba? Kapag regular employee ka, simple lang ang financial story mo. May employer, fixed salary, payslip, certificate of employment at payroll account kung saan halos pare-pareho ang pumapasok every month. Kapag may tumawag na bank, may HR department na pwedeng mag-confirm na employed ka. Pero kapag freelancer ka, parang teleserye ang income. May plot twist every month. January, kumita ka ng 90,000. February, 60,000. March, umabot ng 120,000 dahil maraming projects. Then April, may client na nagsabing the payment is currently being processed. Kaya kapag freelancer ka, alam mong ang currently being processed ay pwedeng mga hulugang bukas, next week, o kapag naalala ulit ng accounting department na existing ka. Dahil variable ang income at maaaring galing sa iba't ibang platform, mahirap para sa lender na makita agad kung gaano ka katagal kumikita, magkano ang average income mo, at kung kaya mong magpatuloy sa pagbabayad kapag nawala ang isang client. Kaya ang first lesson natin ay simple lang. Hindi sapat na kumikita ka, kailangang malinaw kung saan nanggagaling ang income mo, gaano ito kadalas at paano mo ito minamanage. Now that we understand the real problem, ayusin muna natin ang evidence bago tayo pumunta sa ating loan options. Una sa lahat, gumawa ng isang malinaw na money flow. Maraming freelancers ang ganito ang sistema. Papasok ang payment sa Wise, ililipat sa GCash, saka ipapasa sa Bank A, Bank B at digital banks. Pagkatapos, may cash withdrawal, bayad sa internet, padala sa family, Shopee checkout at isang mysterious na 799 transaction na hindi mo na maalala kung para saan. Pagkatapos ng 6 na buwan, para ng crime investigation ang bank statement mo. Ang practical solution ay pumili ng isang main income account. Hindi ibig sabihin na isa lang ang dapat na bank account mo. Ang purpose nito ay magkaroon ng isang central account kung saan pinapadaan ang karamihan ng client payments bago mo hatiin ang pera para sa bills, savings, taxes at personal spending. For example, pwedeng pumasok ang client payment sa Wise or Payoneer, then ilipat mo ito sa main Philippine bank account mo. Mula roon, saka ka mag-transfer sa spending account, bills account, emergency fund at tax savings. Kapag humingi ang lender ng recent bank statements, may isang malinaw kang account na nagpapakita ng income history. Hindi mo kailangan mag-submit ng 10 screenshots mula sa 5 apps habang ipinapaliwanag kung bakit dumaan muna sa GCash ang dollar payment bago napunta sa savings account. Of course, this system does not guarantee loan approval. Ang ginagawa lang nito ay pinapadali ang pag-intindi sa financial activity mo. Mas malinaw ang kwento, mas madali itong suportahan ng contracts, invoices at payment records. Susunod naman dyan ang ating second thing, bigyan mo ng regular na sweldo ang sarili mo. Once malinaw na kung saan pumapasok ang pera, ang next step ay ayusin kung paano mo ito ginagamit. Dito pumapasok ang tinatawag kong personal salary system. Halimbawa, average monthly income mo ay 80,000 pero hindi sabay-sabay na pumapasok ang payments. May 50,000 sa first week at may another 30,000 sa third week. Instead na gastusin mo agad bawat payment, iwan mo muna ito sa main income account, then mag-transfer ka ng fixed personal amount every 15th and 30th. For example, pwede kang maglipat ng 25,000 sa personal spending account every payday. Iyong natitirang pera ay pwedeng mapunta sa taxes, emergency savings, equipment fund, business expenses at future low-income months. Hindi ito trick para magpanggap na regular employee ka. Huwag mong tatawaging payroll income kung hindi naman iyon ang tunay mong employment setup. Kapag tinanong ka, sabihin mong freelancer or self-employed ka. Ang purpose ng system ay maging disciplined at consistent ang personal spending mo. Kasi minsan kapag pumasok ang 100,000, nagiging milyonaryo tayo emotionally for about 48 hours. Biglang kailangan natin ng ergonomic chair, bagong mechanical keyboard, extra monitor, noise-canceling headphones at coffee machine para raw mas productive. Believe me, ganyan din ako. Pero pagdating ng katapusan ng buwan, ergonomic ang chair pero emotionally unstable ang savings. Kapag may fixed amount kang ibinibigay sa sarili mo, mas madaling malaman kung magkano talaga ang kaya mong gastusin. Hindi ka rin masyadong dependent sa timing ng client payments. So make sure that you pay yourself first consistently. And third thing to note, kailangan gumawa ng loan-ready document folder. Ngayong maayos na ang flow ng pera, kailangan namang ayusin ang paper trail. First is you have to open a Google Drive and create a folder called Financial Documents 2026 or however you want to call it. Sa loob, gumawa ka ng separate folders para sa client contracts, invoices, bank statements, payment platform statements like BIR records, SSS and Pag-ibig documents, government IDs, proof of address at certificates from clients. Huwag mong pangalanan ang files na document, final, final 2 at final na talaga. Gumamit ng consistent file names tulad ng 2026 Q2 WISE statement or 2026 client contract company name. Kahit alin doon as long as it's consistent at madaling maintindihan ang mga file names na nilalagay mo. And of course, once a month, maglagaan ka ng 15 to 20 minutes para i-update ang folder. Mas madaling mag-save ng isang invoice ngayon kaysa mag-backread ng 2 taong Messenger or Slack conversation dahil may deadline ang loan application mo tomorrow. Kasabay nito, gumawa ka rin ng proper monthly invoices kahit hindi ito hinihingi ng client. Your invoice should show your name or registered business name, the client, the services provided, the covered period, the amount, the currency, and the payment status. Ang invoice alone ay hindi automatic proof na nabayaran ka, kaya dapat sinusuportahan mo ito ng actual payment record at bank transaction. Ang goal ay magkaroon ka ng connected trail. May agreement, may invoice, and of course may payment at makikita ang pera sa account. And another thing to consider, humingi ng certificate of engagement. May mga foreign clients na hindi nagbibigay ng certificate of employment dahil contractor ka, not a traditional employee. Pero pwede kang humingi ng certificate of engagement or contractor confirmation. Pwede nitong sabihin kung kailan ka nagsimulang mag-work with the client, ano ang role or services mo, at ano ang general payment arrangement. Kung comfortable silang ilagay iyon, of course, mas maganda. Ideally, meron itong client or company name, contact details at signature. You can send a simple and professional request like, "Hi, I'm currently organizing my professional and financial documents. Would you be comfortable signing a short confirmation stating my role and how long I've been providing services to the company? I may use it as a supporting document for future banking requirements." Kasi hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin sa isang loan institution na, "Pwede mo bang patunayan na may trabaho talaga ako?" Remember, hindi guaranteed na tatanggapin ng lahat ng lenders ang Certificate of Engagement as a standalone requirement. Pero kapag kasama ito ng contracts, invoices, payment records, bank statements at tax documents, mas complete ang picture ng freelance work mo. Another helpful thing to know is gamitin ang low-income months para sa pagbabudget. Once maayos na ang documents, ang next question ay mas important. Kaya mo ba talaga ang loan? Freelancers often make the mistake of using their best month as the basis for a long-term commitment. Halimbawa, kumita ka ng 120,000 noong December dahil maraming year-end projects. Pero, feeling mo ba kaya mo na ang 30,000 monthly amortization? Pero paano kung ang normal months mo ay 70,000 at may months na mas bumababa pa sa 50,000? Instead of using your best month, look at your lower or average months. Then subtract your essential expenses, the taxes, insurance, savings, and business costs. Iyon ang matitira pagkatapos ng lahat ng iyon ang mas magiging realistic na basehan. Ask yourself, kaya ko pa rin bang bayaran ito kung mawala ang biggest client ko? Para masubukan, gawin ang practice amortization test. Halimbawa, ang expected monthly loan payment ay 18,000. For the next 3 months, mag-save ka ng 18,000 every month as though nagbabayad ka na. Kapag nagawa mo ito ng hindi umuutang para sa groceries at hindi mo binabalik ang pera sa spending account, good sign iyon. Pero kung second month pa lang, kinukuha mo na ulit ang savings dahil kulang sa bills, baka masyadong mataas ang planned amortization. Mas magandang malaman ito habang sarili mo pa ang pera kaysa kapag interest due date at penalty na ang kasama. So that's really helpful. It's like putting yourself a step forward rather than waiting for you to be on that situation already. At dahil napunta na nga tayo sa emergency cases, one good thing to be helpful is gumawa ng one client down fund. Dahil nabanggit natin ang possibility na mawala ang isang client, kailangan nating pag-usapan ang emergency fund na mas specific sa freelancing. Call it your one client down fund. Compute how much income you would lose if your biggest client suddenly ended the contract. Halimbawa, 40,000 per month ang contribution ng biggest client mo. Your initial goal could be to build enough money to replace 3 months of that income. Hindi ibig sabihin na kailangan agad magkaroon ng 120,000 next week. Start small. First 5,000, then 10,000, then 1 month of essential expenses. Build it gradually. Kapag may ganitong buffer ka, hindi ka kaagad mapipilitang kumuha ng expensive loan kapag nagkaroon ng client loss, delayed payment, laptop breakdown, medical emergency, or temporary lack of projects. Ang emergency fund ay hindi nangangahulugan ng pagiging negative. Hindi ibig sabihin na ine-expect mong mawalan ng client. Para ka lang may payong kahit hindi mo gustong umulan. At bilang isang Filipino freelancer, alam nating may mga pagkakataong sabay-sabay ang ulan, brownout, internet problem, at urgent client revision. So just make sure that you have an emergency fund called the One Client Down Project para at least ready ka kung sakaling magkaroon man ng ganitong problema. And next is yung basic pero laging kinakalimutan or nakakalimutan ng mga freelancers. Ayusin ang tax at government records. Only after organizing your cash flow and documents should you start reviewing formal records such as taxes and government contributions. For SSS, eligible self-employed and voluntary members may apply for a salary loan subject to posted contribution and other current requirements. May calamity loan facilities din para sa eligible members under the applicable conditions. Dahil nagbabago ang requirements and program availability, check your my.sss account and the official SSS information before applying. For Pag-ibig members, official services include multipurpose loans, calamity loans, and housing loan options, each with its own eligibility and documentation requirements. Again, huwag hintayin kailangan mo na ang pera bago mo i-check kung active ang membership at properly posted ang contributions mo. This is the real government loan hack. Check your records before the emergency happens. Mag-log in habang kalmado pa ang buhay. Huwag kapag nasa hospital billing section ka na at mahina ang signal at kailangan mong mag-reset ng password na ginawa mo noong 2017 pa. Kasabay nito, ayusin din ang tax records mo. The BIR has income tax return forms for individuals earning from business or the practice of a profession, including self-employed taxpayers. Your correct form and obligation depend on your situation, so consult a qualified accountant or a tax professional when needed. But always remember that an income tax return does not guarantee loan approval. Pero formal itong record na makakatulong kapag kailangan mong ipakita na may declared income ka. Hindi exciting ang tax documentation. Walang gumigising at nagsasabing, yes, today is the perfect day to organize my BIR records. Pero adulting is often about doing boring things now para hindi ka ma-stress later. And another important thing to remember, build credit before you desperately need it. From government records, let's move to your borrowing history. Do not wait for a major emergency before you start thinking about your credit. Kapag meron kang legitimate credit facility, use it responsibly. Stay within what you can afford and pay according to the agreed schedule. Hindi free money ang credit limit. Kapag may 100,000 credit limit ka, hindi ibig sabihin na tumaas ng 100,000 ang income mo. Utang iyon na naka-formal attire. The goal is not to borrow as much as possible. The goal is to demonstrate responsible financial behavior over time. At kung plano mong magkaroon ng long-term relationship with a bank, pwedeng makatulong na doon mo ipadaan ang regular transactions, maintain accurate records at use legitimate products responsibly. This still does not guarantee approval, but it may give the institution a clearer record of how you manage money. So the next thing is ask the client before asking the lender. Before borrowing for a work-related expense, ask yourself whether the client can help cover it. Kung kailangan mo ng laptop, software subscription, internet upgrade, training course, or specialized equipment, ask whether the company offers an equipment allowance, reimbursement, training budget, or contractor advance with clear written terms. You can say, or pwede mong sabihin kay client, my current laptop is affecting turnaround time and performance. Would the company consider a partial equipment allowance or reimbursement arrangement? The answer could be no, and that is okay. Pero possible rin na may available budget pala, especially if matagal ka nang working with the client, and the equipment will directly improve your output. Mas practical na humingi ng work-related support bago umutang at magbayad ng interest para sa equipment na gagamitin din naman para sa client's projects. At dahil pinag-uusapan na rin naman natin ang utang, one good thing to remember is mag-ingat sa digital lending apps. Of course, may moments na kailangan talaga ng mabilis na pera at kapag desperate tayo, very attractive ang ads na nagsasabing approved in 5 minutes, no documents required, or instant cash today. Pero ang easiest loan is not always the cheapest loan. Bago tanggapin ang offer, alamin kung magkano ang actual na papasok sa account mo after fees, magkano ang total repayment, kailan ang due date at ano ang penalties kapag late. Halimbawa, approve ka for 10,000 pero 8,700 lang ang actual na natanggap mo dahil may deductions. Then kailangan mong magbayad ng more than 10,000 within a short period. Hindi sapat na itanong magkano ang mahihiram ko. Ang mas importanteng tanong ay magkano ang kabuoang ibabalik ko. Check then whether the lending company has the required SEC authority to operate. Under Philippine rules, lending companies need authority from the SEC before conducting lending businesses. Never give your OTP, password, or complete account access to a supposed loan agent. At huwag mangutang sa App B para bayaran si App A, then kay App C para bayaran si App B. Hindi na iyon financial strategy. Alphabet challenge na iyon with interest and penalties. And most importantly, never create fake payslips, fake contracts, fake invoices, or fake bank transactions. Ang goal ay maging loan ready, hindi documentary ready para sa investigation. And another thing to remember is yung sinabi ko kanina na 30-day freelancer money reset. Ano nga ba ito? As promised, here is the practical plan you can start this month. During the first week, choose your main income account and review your last 3 months of transactions. Identify where your client payments enter, where the money gets transferred, and which expenses are mixing with your freelance income. During the second week, create your financial folder. Download your recent bank statements, payment platform records, contracts, invoices, government contribution records, and tax documents. Rename everything properly so madali mong mahanap later. During the third week, create a standard invoice template and request a certificate of engagement from long-term clients. This is also the right time to start separating your money for personal spending, taxes, emergency savings, and business expenses. During the fourth week, check your SSS and Pag-ibig records, review your tax documentation, and begin your one client down fund. Then choose a realistic amount for the practice amortization test. Hindi mo kailangang maging perfect after 30 days. Ang goal ay maging mas organized this month than you were last month. And finally, here is the most important thing I want you to remember. Sa mata ng client, pwede kang successful freelancer. Reliable ka, magaling ka, at possible na 6 digits ang monthly income mo. Pero lenders can only properly evaluate what they can verify. Kaya ang goal mo ay hindi lang kumita. Kailangan mo rin gumawa ng clear, honest, and consistent records that show where the income came from and how you manage it. Because income gives you spending power, but documentation gives you financial access. Ang biggest freelancer flex ay hindi yung may screenshot ka ng 6-digit wise balance. Ang tunay na flex ay kapag tinanong ka ng bank, do you have the proof of income? At kaya mong sumagot ng yes, I have the records. Then you open one organized folder, hindi screenshot compilation, hindi 47 unread emails, hindi voice message ng client, pero isang malinaw na folder na may contracts, invoices, statement contributions at tax records. And that's how is you move from simply earning online to building a stable financial life around your freelance career. So ikaw, nakapag-apply ka na ba ng loan or credit card bilang freelancer? Ano ang pinakamahirap na requirement para sa iyo? Bank statements ba, ITR, client contract, or iyong client na 3 linggo bago mag-reply sa simpleng document request? Share your experience in the comments, pero huwag mag-post ng account numbers, government IDs, or personal sensitive information. Baka ang experience mo ang makatulong sa isa pang Filipino freelancer na naghahanda ngayon. And share this video with someone na magaling kumita, pero ang buong financial documentation ay nasa folder pa rin tinatawag na downloads. So ayan na nga, subscribe to Jom or A Journey of Me for more practical conversations about freelancing, working from home, money preparation, adulting at mga bagay na sana may nagturo sa atin bago tayo nagsimula ng online career. Remember, the best time to prepare for a loan is not when you desperately need one. The best time is habang stable pa ang income, kalmado pa ang situation, at meron ka pang time para ayusin ang system. So once again, this is me, Jom, for A Journey of Me, and I'll see you on the next one.